Hello, my name is Eric Earhart, and I'm running for the 3rd United States Congressional District here in Eastern North Carolina. Covers from Goldsboro to Manteo and from Moyock to Sneads Ferry. I'm looking forward to you finding out about me and my platform and garnering your support. I'm a pastor at the Upper Room Assembly Church in Gatesville, North Carolina. I've been pastoring there for 21 years. I'm a husband to Shari, a father to Mitch, Mandy, Michael, Missy, Miles, and Matthew, the M&M crew. I have spent the last 21 years of my life feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and preaching the good news to the poor. Pastoring my community, loving those of every creed and color and background. But now things have changed. Like so many of you in America, I feel called to rise up and be a part of the process of changing our nation. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the foundations of our form of government. Talk to you about what's important at the federal level, and then ask you to support me after you've heard what I stand for. The number one thing that we need to remember is that humans desire freedom. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody wants to be able to live their own lives, raise their children, make a living, own their own home, go to the sports games on Saturday, church on Sunday, and work hard and earn the fruit from their work. The system we have is one of the most unique systems ever designed. It's a biblical system. It is modeled after the government that God gave the nation of Israel. He told them that they were not to have a king, that they were only to have laws that everyone agreed to, and the only rule they had was to love their neighbor. Now our system is modeled on that. You see, there's a complex problem that we find in humanity, and it's always existed. And there's different views of how you handle this. And that complex problem we find in humanity is that there's always the haves and the have-nots. There's always the ruling class and the working class. And so different people at different times in history have taken a look at that and came up with what they believe were the right solutions. You see, when Adam Smith looked at this and John Locke looked at this, they came up with what we consider the free markets and the Republican form of government, the rule of the people. Karl Marx looked at the same problems and came to different solutions. And what you'll find in our nation today is that these arguments still resonate the same as they ever have. You see, the human condition's not changed. But I want to convince you today that the proper path forward for our nation, for humanity at large, is the path of freedom. You see, people need to be free. And freedom comes from God, not from government. And what we need is representatives, not rulers. The people that go to Washington should understand that they are there to represent you, we the people. That they go there to arrest the government, hold the government at bay, and defend your freedoms. Because that is the most important thing. You see, an American First agenda is Americans' first agenda. It's making sure that you can raise your family the way you want to, worship the way you want to, make a living in a free market where you are the negotiator for your own services, for your own thoughts, your own intellectual property. A free market where giant global corporations are not buying the politicians and keeping you from advancing your own life. I want to talk to you a little bit about the American economy, and then we'll go from there. You see, a free market says just that the product of your hands, the product of your intellect, the product of your sweat and labor belongs to you. And you freely trade this on this market for the highest bidder. You take yourself out there and you convince people of your worth, and then you get the fruit of your own labor. You're able to then bless your family, care for your community, participate in society as a full member. So I am a believer in the free market system, and I would defend that to the end. But what we have right now is a globalist market system. When individual corporations, when Facebook and Twitter can shut down what you say, when pharmaceutical companies can buy lobbyists and buy politicians so that there's no competition, we're not in a free market. You see, cronyism is not capitalism, and you need representation in Washington that understands that to be free, you have to be able to be free economically to buy, sell, and trade on a free market that best benefits you and your family. You see, America has the greatest oil reserves in the world that we can produce and be energy independent. Do I believe in green energy? Well, what I believe is in free markets, and I believe in good ideas. So if the ideas of solar and wind, if the ideas of water power, of nuclear power, if the ideas of fossil fuels, whosever ideas are best and make the life best for you, those are the ideas that should win. You see, government should not be choosing for you. You should be telling government what you want and what is best for you and your family. That's the system that we, the people, are supposed to provide. Now, on the front of government, I need to address this, and I want to be clear and concise about what we're dealing with here. You see, government entities, bureaucracies will always defend themselves, and we understand that. And your representatives in Washington, the people that go there, that you send, they should understand that the FBI should not be able to investigate you complaining at your school board. The FBI should be held in check by your representatives, not be afraid of the FBI. Your representatives should go up there and make them answer to you and not you to them. The IRS, just in 2021 alone, over half of the IRS's audits were done on Americans making less than $50,000 a year. Only 13% were done on Americans making over $1 million. I can tell you right now that when federal agencies like the IRS are used on the common man, we've got a problem at governmental level, and you need a federal representative. You need someone in Congress that is going to fight for you. You see, the government is always going to be the problem and not the solution. The solution to America's problems is you, we the people. Government is supposed to work for you, not work against you. And you're supposed to have representatives and not rulers. This is the way the system's designed, and I want to go there and make sure the system works that way for my 6 children and wife and for yours as well. You see, we, the people, are the way the system is supposed to work. Now I want to address one more issue with you. And this is the way that I think we're going to see real freedom come about. And this issue that's so important and dear to my heart in the realm of freedom, and that's the issue of making sure that when representatives get to Washington, that they don't get bought. It seems that a lot of good people go up there, and before long, they just drown in the swamp. The next thing you know, they're no longer representing you. They're representing the pharmaceutical industry. They're representing the defense industry. They're representing big tech and social media and mainstream media, but they seem to no longer represent you, we the people. Well, one of the ways we can fight that, and I want to make this clear, that some of the issues I'm about to address have been issues in America for 4 decades. One of the ways we can fight that is with term limits. Isn't it amazing that 80% of Americans believe that Congress should have term limits, but yet Congress can never seem to respond to that by voting for term limits for themselves? I would address that and would not give up until it's done. Another thing that we find that for 40 years of polling, of being asked, Americans always respond, 75 to 80% of Americans believe that our southern border should be secure. They believe that drugs and prostitution and human trafficking should not be able to flow freely across our border. That the only way that you can be a nation, let alone a sovereign nation, is by controlling your borders. But yet, 80% of us want that, And yet our Congress never seems to be able to do it for us. They never seem to be able to pass the laws, make the budget available for us to secure our own border so that we, the people, you, the American people, you have a free market to enter into and you're not having to compete against slave labor. Yes, I use the term slave. You see, a ruling class always wants cheap labor. It's the only way they can keep their machine working. And if you didn't have to compete against this illegal labor market, then we the people, would see your wages rise. You would see your real income rise. You would see home ownership rise. You would now be working in a free market in your nation for we the people. One other thing that Americans consistently for 4 decades have polled at the 80 percentile level is that they want to see reform in our political system, where the people who go to Congress, when you send them there, they don't go there to get rich. So we want to see reform. Americans of all stripes, all backgrounds, and all political persuasions have consistently said that they want to see reforms and government finance laws where when you go to be a public servant, you cannot enrich yourself while in that realm. I believe the same thing. You see, I'm not a career politician. I'm a pastor. I'm not someone that has the system on my side. I'm someone that's on your side because I'm one of you, we the people. And I've had enough. And not only do I want to go to Washington and fight for my family, I want to go and fight for yours. I want to bring integrity and truth back to our system. I have no desire to go there and get rich. I have a desire to go there and make things happen. And when my time's up, I want to come home and hang out with my beautiful family, go back to preaching in my community, and being a part of Eastern North Carolina. You see, it is a time for you, we the people, to pick representatives that will go to Washington to represent you and not rule you. I want to leave you with one last thought here, and it's one that's been on my mind for some time. It's from a biblical story that always has touched my heart. There's a man named Peter in the Bible, and he does something amazing. He gets out of the boat and he walks on water. You see, the way he walked on water is he kept his eyes on the Lord. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you will choose me, Eric Earhart, for the 3rd Congressional District, I'm going to Washington not to sink in that swamp, but to walk on water. You can find me at ericearhart.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can call me. You can email me. You can find me anytime ready to represent you, we the people. God bless you, and God bless America.